Welcome to In the Game, Qatar's first sports podcast, featuring inspiring professionals and athletes from different sports industries around Qatar. Hosted by Steve Mackey. In this episode, Steve chats with two amazing people who have both battled with cancer and fought great adversity to go on and help others in need. They're the people behind the Wireless Warriors, a dragon boat team for cancer survivors and supporters. Please welcome onto the show Sandee Thompson and Mohammed Eraki.
Hello and welcome to In the Game, Qatar's first sports podcast. Today is, I say it every single week, you know I say it every single week, but this is, without exception, we have two special guests today, and I can't wait to introduce you. Well, I'm going to let them introduce themselves, and I'm going to start with you, Sandee. Please introduce yourself.
Well, my name is Sandee Thompson, and I'm the EFL coordinator at the College of the North Atlantic, but I'm also a dragon boat founder of a company or a team here in Qatar called the Doha Wireless Warriors. Started off almost 6 years ago, November the 14th. And it is started as a dragon boat team for breast cancer survivors. Ended up being what it is now, which is a community team, cancer survivor team for people from all across Qatar who have had any kind of cancer, or they've had somebody in their family affected by cancer. And we're also a community team. So we're the team on the beach that just wants to have fun. You can tell by Mo's pink t-shirt that we're all about bright and colorful and joyful.
And that comes back to you, Mo. Tell us about yourself.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure just to connect with you. My name is Mohammed Eraki, and you could call me Mo, M-O, easy to remember. I originally father of two kids, still learning how to be a father, 6 years and 3 years, Farida and Salma. And working in the aviation industry for the last 18 years, 8 years into commercial and sales, and the last 10 years with talent management and leadership development. I'm honored just to be a dragon boat, as well as all my introduction is something when I say I'm a cancer survivor, is everything before it was not interested, and the people will forget all of this and will say, more. So I'm honored just being a cancer survivor and with Wireless Warriors since the first boat we're kicking off. And it's an honor just to be with you.
And the thing with it is that big C word is just something that you don't want to, a lot of people don't want to talk about, right? But I'm sat here now and I feel myself beaming because I've got two wonderful people that are doing these wonderful things, and you're getting people together that's been suffering for it. Oh my word, I am not worthy, honestly. You two are amazing. What you're doing is
You would
brilliant.
do the same thing, Steve. You would do the exact same thing. You can either sit around and say, okay, I'm sick, or you can think I'm not sick, I just have something inside me that needs to be taken out and I need to get on with my life, right? And you can either decide to do one step forward. And I'm not saying that there weren't bad days, because there were bad days, of course there were, but you have to keep taking one day at a time, move forward, and have a goal at the end. And dragon boating is a great goal to have.
And we've all seen it. And I tell you why I was interested, and I didn't realize the big story that we were going to share today. But I went to Mia Park, and one day I was looking at it, and somebody said, Mo, you're a coach for dragon boating, and I got in touch with you. But I just loved the look of it. I then didn't realize that all of a sudden this whole thing where you've put this together, which I'm going to ask you now, but you've put this together for such a wonderful purpose. How did you and I don't want to take you too back because of the memories or whatever, but how did you start this? What happened and how did you start this?
So 10 years ago, almost 11 years ago, I was diagnosed with breast cancer when I was in Canada. And when I was sitting in the radiation room waiting to go in and have radiation, I saw a little brochure. And it said Bosom Buddies of Nova Scotia. And it was all these women sitting in a boat. And I looked at it, there was only one brochure. So I looked at it and kind of went, okay, I got to remember this. That looks interesting. Put it back into the little booth, went on to radiation. And later on, I thought, that's something I can do. If I can get through cancer, I can dragon boat. I'd never done it before, and I thought, when you're going through cancer, there's a lot of things that go through your mind. And one of those things, for me anyhow, and I think it was for Mo as well, is if I can do this, I can do anything. And at that point, I wasn't talking about cancer. I just wanted to get on with my life. The only people I told were my family and the people that I worked with, in case I was feeling a little wibbly one day. I wanted them to understand that I was having a bad day. So then I went down to go dragon boating. It's 10 months after, almost a year after I'd been diagnosed, and started dragon boating with these fabulous women in Canada. And then I moved here a year and a half later. There was no dragon boat. And then in 2013, Jeff Ching brought in the very first dragon boat. And it was the team at the time was called the Doha Dragons. And I jumped in with him. He put an ad out before the boat even arrived saying, anybody who's a dragon boater. I'm like, oh my God, I was right in there. And the very first week when we started, I said, Jeff, I want to start a breast cancer dragon boat team. And he was very supportive and said, go ahead, do what you want. But I couldn't find anybody. I couldn't connect with anybody. I tried everywhere in the country that is connected to cancer, and nobody called me back. Everybody was busy. So then I thought, okay, well, it'll happen when it happens. 1 year later, I got re-diagnosed with breast cancer, had a bilateral mastectomy, and within 6 weeks, I had a team together. I don't know why. I talked to the nurses. Everything seemed to fall together. Everybody that I tried to contact the year before got in contact with me, because I was also putting together a survivor panel at the college. We had a big breast cancer campaign that year. And so I'd organized a panel of 4 people. And one of those people was actually Mo's mother-in-law. And so she came, and at that time I said, look, I really, really want to get this boat in the water, and I want survivors in there. Will you come? And Imani said, yes, of course I'll come. And then Imani brought Mo and Nada, her daughter, and her husband. And then there were a bunch of other people that I had met through various things. And so we got the boat in the water. We borrowed Jeff's boat and got a paddle in. But it didn't really keep going until a couple of years ago. And this past November, so we're talking 9 months, we got people in the boat for a ceremony. And I said to the boat, it was all survivors. And I said, I'd really love it if you kept coming. I'd love to have one day dedicated just to you. And they did. And so now we have a survivor team.
Now, I must admit, Mo, I looked at all the pictures this morning, and I've been going through them. You've got a pretty easy job, right? Standing at the front of that boat, kind of telling people what strokes. What's your story, Mo? What was it like when you first come into this dragon boat?
Yeah, I'd like to highlight that I'm an Egyptian guy who's playing football in the streets, and that's it. And when we started to go to the uni and we started to grow up, the sport is becoming something for the kids. So we are coming from the culture that sport is not always there. So we would play football in the streets, then that's it. And even I started to swim and learn how to swim when I was 33 years old. I'm not into that sport, but I'm into activities. My mother-in-law one day told me that there is a dragon boat, we're 20 people in the boat, we go together and I said, you know what, how much the budget for this? Just to go to the boat, because I was before in Venice, and I know 1 hour in Venice, it costs 150 euro. So I said, you know what, how much the budget for this? He said, no, it's a community building. I said, okay, let's go ahead and try it. And we go together with my wife and my father-in-law and mother-in-law, and we are 4 people in the boat. And I said, you know what? I find the sport that I will never stop doing it. And I went to Sandee. I said, I'm in. What do you want just to make that happen? And she said, we need to make it as a breast cancer survivor. I said, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and start. But I know with the culture here, it's hard to say. It's easy just to say I have a headache, I have a kidney problem, I have a problem with the diabetes. But it's hard just to say that you are a cancer survivor or you had cancer. This is something with the culture. And it takes from us, I guess, Sandee, 5 years?
6.
6 years just to make a full boat of this. And I love the way which we move forward towards this. It's go with the way, how it goes, right? Sandee, she needs to make it as a breast cancer survivor, but she has a kidney survivor right now with her in the boat. And he said, let's make it a community. Because the people, they need to find a place. We don't have families here. We don't have like kids, friends when they grow up together. We don't have the roots in the country here. Yeah. But with the Wireless Warriors here, we have our own family and we connect to each other. It's not only inside the boat, but inside the boat and outside.
And it's not just, Steve, it's not just our team. When we formed, I'm not a big pink person, despite the pink glasses. I've learned to love pink. But initially, when you're diagnosed, everywhere you look, it's pale pink everywhere. and you don't really want to be thinking about it. You just want to get on with things. But I like hot pink, hence the hot pink t-shirts. But everybody in the Dragon,
I love the wig.
Everybody in the Dragon Boat community said, you need a pink boat. I'm like, I don't want a pink boat. No, you have to have a pink boat. So eventually we got a pink boat. Then they said, you have to have pink jackets. I don't want pink jackets. You have to have pink jackets. And then finally I was in Ireland on vacation. I saw the pink wig and thought, all right, I give in. And so, the pink wig was born for whenever we race. And in fact, it was before our team raced. I was racing with the Doha Dragons in Abu Dhabi. And I wore the pink wig to represent the survivors that couldn't be in the boat. And the big thing about our team is whenever we paddle, I believe that you need to develop both sides. You cannot the idea with breast cancer survivor dragon boating is that as you paddle, you're pumping the lymph system. Because whenever you've had cancer, you've had some lymph nodes removed because they want to make sure that the cancer has been contained in the breast and hasn't moved through your system. And so, that can compromise your health because you need your lymph system to work well. So dragon boating, you pump the whole time you're paddling, you're pumping your system. That's number one. But number two is that, you need to do both sides. And a lot of teams only do one side. So we do 30 minutes on one side, we stop in the boat, and we have about, 2 to 5 minutes where we basically stop, and we call it our moment of being grateful. And so we think about why we're in the boat. We think about those people who can't be in the boat with us, who are either going through chemo or radiation, or they're recovering from surgery, or they're fearful, they're afraid to come to the boat. And we basically send out love and light to them, and those who pray send prayers for them. And then we take a moment for ourselves to basically give ourselves credit for coming into a boat, because many people can't swim and they trust us enough to come into the boat with us. And then we switch sides and we paddle on the other side. I think that's a special moment.
And if you don't mind me at this moment in time, because Mo, I hear what you're saying about how do you deal with the situation, and people haven't accepted it yet, or not accepted it. It's just a difficult subject to talk about, right? So if I was talking to you for the first time, how do you deal with it? What happens if it comes up and all of a sudden I don't know how to deal with the subject? And I think that's more the point than how do you kind of how do you react? I'm struggling now to talk about it.
You're talking to the two most open people about this subject. We're not the norm, I don't think, when it comes to cancer.
What can we do?
What we're trying to do, Steve, we're trying just to make it the norm, because it's a disease like any other disease, and we're standing there just to say we're an example. And let me start with my situation there. I was not a survivor before. I was a cancer supporter, and I was always standing when I coached the team. And I said, I'm proudly being a cancer supporter in this boat, and we have a great survivors who are coming to the boat or not yet able to come to the boat, and we are here for them. 3 years ago in July, I was alone and my family was back home, and I called Sandee and I said, Sandee, they said that you have a Bosniak cyst in your left kidney and it might be cancer. And the first question she asked me, she said, how do you feel? And I said, I feel really angry. I'm not feeling sick. I'm not feeling worried. I'm feeling really angry because I was doing everything right. I was successful manager in my job. I was successful in my family with my kids. I'm a great father. I was doing 4 times of a dragon boat. Plus I do cycling and I do running. I was doing everything. I eat healthy. I'm not drinking. I'm not smoking. Everything I was doing was right. Then I got cancer. And Sandee, she said, I'm driving. Let me stop my car. And we talk almost, I don't know how much we're talking. And this is the great thing about the community. Because normally the people, they get cancer and they hide themselves. I did something wrong, or there is something wrong, I'm going to die, and that mentality of the people. But when you have the right people to talk to, is different, because these people will post you up and they will push you just to be the best version of yourself.
Yeah.
And they put me for 6 months under observation with the checks. Then shall I do the surgeries or not? And one of the risks, which I'm going to do the surgery, I'm going to lose my left kidney if the surgery went flat or it was not successful. I will lose the left kidney. And because I have the awareness, if you have cancer in your body and the doctor said remove it, go ahead and remove it. Yeah. Listen to the doctor. Yes, if the doctor said yes, if it's better to be removed, just go ahead and take it. And by the way, it was a small size. It was like this. It's not a big thing there. And I did the surgery, and there is something amazing which is happening here about the community. There is a gentleman, he was a head nurse, and I never met him before in the boat. And he came one of the nights, which was one of the hardest nights after the surgery, you know, like recovering and so on. And he said, hi, Coach Mo, you don't know me. I'm one of the Dragon Boat. I joined while you're doing the surgery, so I'm a new member. And I'm just passing by because I heard a lot about you, and just I come just to check how's your health. And I forgot my pain because I was alone at that night, and I'm feeling really tired and sick. And there is someone who doesn't know me, but coming from Wireless Warriors community, and he's coming just to check on me, and makes a big difference. It's the family and the connection that we have.
Yeah, it's huge.
I think that's the biggest thing, that you don't have to be on your own. Don't. And if somebody, and I suppose I'm going to bring this up now, and we will get onto the sporting side and what it has done for people. But I suppose when you're being told for the very first time that you've got this, I find it difficult to say, but you've got this cancer. It's like, what do you do? The world must be a lonely place.
Yeah.
And
You're shocked initially, right?
Yeah.
Right. The first thing you do is go, what? Is it, pardon? You know, and then, oh, okay. My attitude was, oh, okay, great, thank you. And my doctor's like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, no, I'm good. I'll talk to you later. Hung up the phone, sat there, and then the tears started. And I thought, okay, Sandee, okay, so grabbed a book. I went to the bookstore immediately. Actually, the first mammogram, I went to the bookstore as soon as I had the first mammogram, and I saw this look in the radiographer's face. And you know, people are humans. And everybody says, oh, no, you couldn't tell. I'm like, yeah, I could. The look on her face, she was sad. She saw something, but she couldn't say anything to me. And so I went to the bookstore. I read a very thin book of I think it was called So You've Got Cancer. Read the whole thing, went, okay, I got an idea. 2 weeks later, when I got the letter saying come back in, wasn't surprised. Went back in and said, you need to watch your face. I knew I was coming back in here because of the look on your face. Anyhow, I mean, your reaction is, everybody's different. Some people go right into the depth of despair. Other people, my attitude every single time was I'd go to a doctor's appointment, I'd have my list of questions, I'd get them answered, I'd go to my car, I'd have a good cry for usually about 5 minutes, let it all out, get back in my car, drive to work, do my thing, because it would be 2 weeks in between each appointment. And I can either sit in sorrow and be freaked out, or I can say, okay, let it out. All right, now move on. It's out of my control. And what cancer did for me is a very interesting thing, is it made me stop carrying my backpack of life with me. I was always carrying my past with me. I'd meet you, Steve, and go, God, he looks so much like my teacher from, and I'd be so caught up in the past. And I've never been a big future look 30 years forward. I've never been that kind of person. But cancer made me stop and go, okay, today, you have right now, and you must enjoy every moment that you have right now, because at any second, it can be taken from you. It's that simple. It's almost been taken from me 3 times in 10 years. And each time I've gone, okay, so I'm lucky, I'm still here, this is good. And what can I do? Well, what I can do is look at today and make my decisions today. And what I can do is anybody that comes in my wake is going to be embraced. With COVID, maybe I can't embrace physically right now, but anybody who comes towards me is going to be embraced, and I'm going to be open to whatever the universe has to drop in my lap. And part of what it's dropped in my lap is this community of people who want to grow and who want to come to the boat. They want a new experience. Some of them come just for one day. Some, like Mo, jump in and go, oh my God, this is what I want to do, and are in there for the entire 6 years. Other people come, they're gone for university, and then they come back, or they're in and out. They just had a baby, but then they're coming back. So it really is, our team is fluid enough that if you come, we embrace you. If you can't come, we embrace you. Let us know. We let everybody know if we're doing an event, and even if people aren't paddling, they're still part of our Doha Wireless Warrior family. And we just do one day at a time.
Do you know something, that the biggest thing that I want to get in your boat for, and that now you've said it, was that halfway thing where you do 30 minutes or you do 31 and then you go across the other side, and just to be thankful for what you've got, right?
Yeah.
That to me sounds magical.
Yeah.
It must be magical to look at other people and think, oh God, I'm blessed. And when did you realize that you had this special thing with the boat? How did you realize you were going to get to this stage?
No, honestly, dragon boating in Canada, I need to be by water. I live in Halifax, Nova Scotia. I'm right on the ocean. And water brings me joy. And if I'm having a bad day, I will drive to any body of water that's nearby and I'll just sit there and it calms me. So dragon boating was perfect. When I came here, I thought, I'm in the middle of the desert, but I'm surrounded by water. I need water. And so when the boat started, I was just hoping that maybe once a week, that'd be great. Because at home we go 3 times a week. And then we went twice a week. Then we went 3 times a week. And now we've been open again since August the 1st. And Steve, we had 10 practices a week the first 3 weeks. I've just done up the schedule for this coming week. And I think I have 9, maybe 8 or 9. Because the other thing that we do that I think is really important is we're trying to develop coaches and steers. And anybody in the team that expresses an interest or that as I'm watching them, I'm going, okay, that person has leadership capacity, or that person needs us. They need to do something, right? They need more than what they're doing right now. Then one of us they'll do some mentoring coaching with me, and then they'll do some with Mo, or they'll work with one of our steers at the back and learn how to steer, because the more coaches and steers we have, the more times we can get out in the boat. So this week we're going to be out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday morning, Monday and Wednesday afternoon, twice on Friday morning, twice on Saturday morning, because we're trying to get all these new beginners. And we've got over 45 beginners that have approached me in the last 2 weeks saying, I want in. So we're trying to get 45. That's insane. Like 7 or 8 a day, I swear. Sorry, my cat's doing his thing in the background. But, we keep having these people come to us. It's been through Instagram, sometimes through Facebook, through the university. However people find out about us, then they just contact me and we set them up. And then they sign up when they can.
How would they get in contact? Where could they go and read all about you? Where could they?
We're on Facebook.
Yep.
We're on Facebook at Doha Wireless Warriors. We're on Instagram, dww.qa, or they can just simply send me a WhatsApp message to my phone number. Okay,
perfect. And Mo, you've been doing all of your life, you've been doing this coaching and kind of has it come second nature to you? Is it all your skills that you've learned with your job, you're known as Coach Mo?
Yeah, I'd love to. This is my new brand for myself. I'm branding myself, so you can find me on Instagram under Coach Mo. So if you're interested, you could join in. You could join in our culture and our dragon boat. What I'd like to highlight, I'm into organization development, and talent management, and I was doing my accreditation into coaching and with the ATD under Master Consulting, and as well as I'm the ICF International Coach Federation Secretary. All of this, which is fantastic, but my passion into the water sports. Sandee was highlighting, when I'm feeling down, I go to the sea, and I call it the sea people. There are some people, they are connected to the sea. There is something there.
Okay, let me cut in there. Okay, I had this diver. The free diver. He goes down to depths of 100 meters.
Yikes.
Free diving. And he was saying, he was looking up to me and he was saying, we are from the water. We're from the water. And when we go back to the water, you'll see that you can relate to it. And now you're saying exactly what he's saying, that you're not happy until you're close to it.
We are the tribe of the sea people there. That's why I'm always telling people, there's some people, they will come and connect. And some people, they will say, it's a salty water. I said, yeah, that's why we love it.
Float.
Yeah. So with the people there, with the sand and sea and the sky, we have the feeling. And imagine if you're going to Qatar village where we are meeting there, and you go to the beach there, and you started to hold your boat and you put it in the water before the sunrise, and you wait there with warming up until the sunrise is there. And you got your boat and you go ahead and paddle to the mid of the sea, and you watch the sunrise coming out from the pearl step by step. Wow. Doing the best sport ever. What kind of amazing atmosphere that you do it in the morning.
Right?
This is just incredible. So you go there, and it was one of my questions. So what time do you do this? And you've just told me it's like first thing in the
sunrise
morning.
and sunset. Yeah, we cannot be there after dark. Right now, because it's so hot, we're either really, like, we're at the beach at what, quarter to five, 4:40? And then, and we paddle until 6:30, 7:30, because still right now it's too hot. 7:30, it's too hot. We have to be off the beach. And then we paddle again in the afternoon at 4:45 until sunset, because we can't really go in the middle. It's much too hot.
Wow, but it just must be an exhilarating
glorious.
feeling. And the camaraderie must. I was in the forces, and it was all about the team, right?
Yes.
So that relationship with 45 people that you've got now, did you really, really believe that you could get to this stage?
Actually, the 45 is the new guys who need to join us.
Yes. Our list is 200. We have 250 people on our list.
Incredible.
Not all those people paddle, but they, and every once in a while we cull. And by that, I mean, I go on and say, okay, guys, if you're not participating more, can you pull your name off the list so we have room for others? And they don't want to, because they want to hear what's happening. But, people will come in and out. But no, I had no idea. All I wanted was a safe place for survivors to be. And I also started up a WhatsApp group just for breast cancer survivors. And on that group, there are women who have never been to the boat. I have never physically met them. I've never even had a Zoom chat with them. They've been sent to me through the hospital, through some of the nurses, or through a friend of a friend of a friend. And they're not everybody on the group wants to come and be active, but they want a place to speak. They want a place to come out and throw their questions and say, okay, the doctor just said this to me. Has anybody else had that experience? What did you do? Who did you talk to? Where do I go in Qatar? Because there isn't really, once you've had cancer and you've gone through treatment, once you've had your surgery, then you're out of that and you're into oncology. And in oncology, you see them once every 3 months and then every 6 months, but nobody's checking in with you in between. They're checking you physically. There's no real place here where people are checking to you emotionally and say, how are you doing? So in our boat, and really in our boat, if I'm coaching and I do the minute, and I can see some people have tears, or I see some people are, distressed. Afterwards, it gives me the opportunity to go up, put my arm around them and say, are you okay? What's going on? Do you need some support? Or just to send them a text afterwards saying, saw that you were distressed. We're here. What do you need? And those things, I had it with my friends. My friends did that for me. And I was very blessed. And same thing here, I had the college behind me. And then the Dragon Boat team, throughout my many surgeries, the team was already formed, so I had lots of support. And so we need to give that back, right? If we are open to it, then we need to support each other, because this is how we get through it. And it's how we get through it the easiest way.
And I suppose that we're only just realizing, and if there's people like myself that haven't, thanks God, I haven't, but it's like this COVID period, and I'm not putting it into the same bracket at all, but there's certain circumstances now we've got to get used to and we've got to overcome, and we're finding people that are struggling in this time. These type of groups are just amazing, right? These are the things that you need to just get out and kind of mix with people. We were saying before the show, there's so much to do in Qatar.
It's true.
So much to do.
The problem is that how do you reach out to people, right? The issue is, how do people, the hardest thing here, I think, is how do people find you? How do they find these groups that they can connect with? So it's programs such as yours, Steve, that give people the opportunity to go, oh, I didn't even know that existed here.
Do you know something? I've got an immense sense of proudness that again, it's one of those moments that's standing up on the hair standing up on the back of my neck. Because with the way that I'm feeling right now is it that when somebody asked me to do a podcast in the beginning, it was like, especially with sports, I'm thinking to myself, have I got this really knowledge about football, or I've got knowledge about most sports, but it wasn't about any of those things. And in the game was about kind of listening to other people's stories, listening to your stories, and then sharing that with others so that somebody else can get something from you. It may be the smallest bit of information, but it could be, and I don't want to, it could be a lifesaver. It could be a lifesaver, because I'm listening to you, Sandee, and you've been through this 3 times and you're still fighting. You're still saying, I'm still going to go back and I'm going to take this head on. And it's like, that's what we've got to do in life. That's what and it's all relative what people go through, right? It's kind of, some people might not have that, but they might have the most difficult situation. You're the ones that are saying to them, like you said just now, Sandee, go and put your arm around somebody and say, you're not there today, right? Come on, is there something that we can help you with?
Exactly.
Amazing.
And Mo is the same. He reaches out to people. We seem to have connections in different directions. So he will send me a text saying, okay, so I just talked to so-and-so is having a rough day. I'm like, great, okay, I'll touch base with them. Or I'll send something saying, Mo, somebody lives near you. They need a hand. Can you drop off? Or we'll text somebody else, say, can you pick so-and-so up? They need to talk. And it's just how it works, right? Is that if you're human and if you're open to it, this is where the connections are. And this is what makes moving forward possible. And, we're all going to get something. And we're all going to get something at some point. Yep. And you can either hide in a corner, and there are times when you hide in a corner and you don't want to see anybody. Absolutely. But if you stay there, if you stay in that dark, dark place, it's hard to heal when you're feeling that. You have to get into the light. You have to move into the light to keep going forward.
Yeah, it's just absolutely, that's just gold. You saying that, Sandee, is just perfect. You've inspired me so much. I'm gonna kind of move on a little right now, and I'm gonna say to you, so I'm turning up at your mornings.
Good.
Okay, so the sun
I'm
is.
going to send you the schedule.
Yeah, please. So just walk us through what people can expect. It's like when they're coming to you, so they turn up in the morning. You carry on. Tell us what to expect.
So they show up at the beach and we greet them, and often Mo is there first, and he's already got, so we have to get everything out of the boat and get the boat prepared, etc. Then somebody will do a warm up with them. So if Mo or I are there, typically one of us does it, or one of the coaches will do it. Then if there are new people, we get them set up with a paddle, so it has to be height appropriate. So we have paddles everywhere from my 4'10" height up to 6 foot whatever. We have jackets, so we have to get them sorted with their jackets. We show them the basic commands of dragon boating so that they know when to put their paddle in the water, when to stop. We show them how to hold the paddle. Mo and I are pretty physical, so we just get right behind you and physically move you so that you know what you need to do. Then we line people up according to size, because a dragon boat can basically accommodate anybody from my height to your height, some small, big, depending on your size. We'll put you in the boat accordingly. And then we basically get in the boat. We go through safety. We identify anybody who's a non-swimmer. And then we make sure if we have any non-swimmers, that somebody who is a swimmer is their person. So they're going to keep an eye on them. We talk about a drill if we capsize. And then we go.
Islam told me that he was getting in these dragon boats and he didn't even know how to swim. So you get people that can't swim, right?
Yeah.
But everybody has a life jacket on, and we demonstrate, if I can come up and grab your jacket and lift it, it's too loose, right? We have to be able to grab somebody if we would have to and lift them from their jacket. So we teach them how to put their jacket on, right, Mo? And we get them all snug in the jacket, and then we teach them what they need to go. We've never tipped our boat. And I'm knocking on wood.
Never. We never tip, we never capsize.
You can hear that? That is me knocking on wood.
Except me. So I did.
Mo, let me ask you this question. What are you going to put? What are you going to, as a coach, Mo, what are you going to put people, what are you going to put people through?
So when we go to the boat, actually, this is specifically about our culture there, and our culture is created by people. So if you went to the Qatar beach where there is a dragon boat and you call there with a loud voice, rule number 1, the whole beach will respond, have fun. Okay?
Yeah.
It's a culture which is built in there, and with the culture there, we have Nunu is one of our engine in the boat. He will, while we are doing the dragon and we are paddling together, he will say, "You can do it!" And with that voice, you will find one of the team members there. He will go ahead and call it together. You will find Nizar there with his songs and his stuff. You will find the team members there. They created their own culture. So we are not there just to coach them in the specific 1, 2, 3. For the safety and for the rotation and for the reach and for the position, this is our role as a coach, but the culture is created by people.
Yes, and every single coach is different, right? We're all different people. So, if you get into Mo's boat, he's going to do it one way. I'm going to do it another way. Amir is going to do it another way. We all have our own style because we're all people. But I think what if you'd ask any of the other teams on the boat or on the beach, and there are 11 teams at the moment, but any of the teams know that we, when we go racing, we would love to win, and we have won bits and pieces, but we're there to have fun. So Mo and I and some of our other coaches and steers, when we do corporate racing, we are in every single boat, drumming or steering and screaming for them to win. And the second we get out of the boat, we're with the next group screaming for them to win. We're just there to have a good time, and we want to promote everybody having fun. We don't take ourselves that seriously. We've already won the race, Steve. The survivors in the boat have already won the race. They've gotten through cancer, or maybe they're going through cancer, but they're in the boat. The supporters, they're there because they have somebody in their life who has had cancer. Either they've passed from cancer, they have cancer now, or they, whatever their experience is. But they're there because they understand from the other side. They understand from the side where they're helplessly watching somebody move through this journey. And so, we're just there to have a good time, to build community. As Mo says, rule number one is to have fun. And that's really what we care about. The pink wigs, the makeup, the pink tutus, the pink t-shirts. We're very proud. Even as you see, all of our men wear the pink t-shirts and are happy to wear them.
I want a pink t-shirt, Mo, please. I need a pink t-shirt.
They're in my car. You show up, you're getting a pink t-shirt.
And I'm going to be joining you 100%. I'm going to be joining you because I find this just incredible. And I know that there's a purpose, but just to be part of your group, it just seems like it's just wonderful.
Yeah,
I agree.
There is the culture of which I repeated again. It's the culture and leadership. So it's not only I coach and Sandee coach. We have a group of coaches. We have a great group of steers who will be in the back, and we have the coach in the front, and we have 20 people there. And this is an amazing sport. Like, did you ever heard about a game having 20 people, 22 people in the? This is the only big numbers, right? So the people who are social and into building their capabilities and building themselves, this is the great place for you. It's not only by just doing a sport. You do sport, you build a culture, you build your leadership skills. You build discipline and accountability and commitment as well. Just to be on the beach at 4:30 a.m., it's a big commitment.
A huge commitment.
And
You're getting up at 3.
And I told you this podcast was going to go so quickly. And I knew that it was, because it was just an absolute pleasure. And I will kind of say this to you both. I always say to people in my life, I always say that we're all angels. It's just that we don't have the confidence to use it sometimes. And it's like, we've just got to believe. You two are there. I'm telling you now, what you're doing with people and what you've organized and the way that you're connecting and walking with. And the biggest one that I'm going to take away from this is go into the light. Go into the light. You don't need to be on your own. And it's like, I want to be in your boat. I want to come and enjoy this. So everybody out there right now, you get onto their website, Instagram, do whatever you've got to do. Let's get this to another 250 people. I'm going to leave Sandee, if I may, because Mo, it's been fantastic having you on the show today, honestly. And thank you so much for coming and sharing your story with us. It's just so special. It really is so special. And Sandee, I'm going to leave it to you now, for you to finish up the show so that you can tell people.
Basically, you can do anything that you set your mind to. And this is actually the truth. Anything that you set your mind to, you can do. You have to be open to it. You have to open yourself up to the universe or God or whatever it is that you believe, and just put it out there. And then once you put it out there, you need to go looking for it, because we're here. The groups such as ourselves, we're here, and we're going to welcome you, and we just want you to join us. It's that simple.
I thank you both. You have been tremendous. You are tremendous. You are touching so many people's lives, and I'm honored and privileged to have you on, because this is what we wanted to do with the podcast. You've come on and you've made I can't tell you what you've done for me, but I'm joining your boat. Everybody, I hope you've enjoyed the show today, because it was a cracker. It was fantastic. It was amazing. I can't shout about it enough. until next week when you hear us again, thank you so much. Sandee, Mo, thank you so much for being on the show. It was brilliant. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Really. Thank you so much. Everybody, hope you enjoyed the show. See you next week. Thank you so much.